What's up? What's up? What's up, beautiful people? It's Pretty Girl Loves Trap content. And we are back, okay? OG Power. I'm ready to get into this, okay? This is episode 14 of season 6, y'all. So it's one more episode after this before we conclude my OG Power recap. It's been a long time coming, okay, you guys? So this episode is focused on Rashad Tate. And I'm ready to get into it. Before I do, if you don't mind, please make sure you like the video, subscribe, do all the things to support your girl, okay? What's up, Mr. Jones? Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you. You one of my faithful, loyal people, okay? So I definitely appreciate you, bruh. If you don't know, now you know, okay? So, y'all, Rashad Tate, the man we love to hate or hate to love, okay? However you feel about him, this is what we're going to get into, okay? So Tate, he is drunk as a skunk, okay? As we see him just really depressed over this whole campaign, right? So he over there, and they got the Jamaican music playing, y'all. I'm not even going to hold you. I was dirty whining a little bit. I was doing all the things. Bum, 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 beat bum 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 bidum bum bum bidum dum 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 dum. Y'all, I was ready to do some things. Okay, I'm like, all right, they doing the music right in OG Power fashion, but he's in the bar drunk as a skunk, and it seems like it's a regular occurrence. Okay, he's over there harassing the bartender, really trying to make moves. Okay, and she's not feeling him at all. So drunkenly, he makes a call to a guy named Troop, y'all. No, Croup. I apologize. And Croup is played by Cedric the Entertainer. Okay, so Croup is a hitman based out of Washington, D.C. So he was like, Croup, I got a little mess I need you to clean up. Okay, bruh. So I need you to get over there to New York. And he was like, all the way to New York? I'm like, bruh. Croup, it's only a couple hours. Like, what are we doing? Do you want this money or not? Like, I don't understand people complaining when they get work. Like, what are we doing? So he tells them, I need you to come. And Croup was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and come. So the bartender that Tate was harassing, she calls Rashad's brother, Kamal. Okay. And Kamal was like, he over there drunk again. She was like, yeah, you need to come get your brother. Okay, because he probably eating tipping a nut and just harassing. So Kamal goes to get Tate, and Tate wakes up in his nephew's room. Okay, hung the F over. Okay, so we get to see Kamal's family. You know, we have his wife, Simone, his son, Elijah, and they're having a cute little family moment. I was sucker for a cute little African-American family moment, y'all. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. Hey, Kenzie, thank you for coming through. I'm like, better for the 99, not the 2000, okay, the 99, because I still got a little, I got asthma. So whenever I get any type of issues with the immune system, yeah, the breathing gets a little tricky, and I'm even finding myself a little winded talking. Like I was having a meet with my boss earlier today. I'm like, girl, let me get my pump. I was over here like so I'm noticing that when I have to talk consistently. So y'all pray for me, okay? Please pray for your girl, okay? For the most part, I am better, but it's just that little hump that I'm getting over. And my doctor gave me some little, she gave me like a little steroid to kind of help open up my breathing passages. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for asking. I appreciate you. Oh, I didn't know you had an inhaler too, girl. We got to get it together, okay? We got to create a little, nice little cute safe space, a little asthmatic community safe space. Oh gosh, but yeah, it's been a minute since we're doing power. So I wanted to make sure I get this done before Raising Canaan starts, okay? Because we already know. So we at Kamal's house, and of course Kamal's asking Tate, like, what's up? Do you want to talk about whatever you was getting drunk as a skunk about last night? So he tells his brother, yeah, this whole campaign is over, and I have James St. Patrick to thank, okay? And he was like, soon as I see that mug, that face is gonna be on and popping. And look who we see on the news. James St. MF and Patrick, okay? Now, we already, everybody else has heard this news, but this is Rashad Tate's point of view. So he's hearing about, the official change in James St. Patrick's alliance, okay? It went from Rashad Tate to Laurette Wash, okay? And of course, Tate is peed off, okay? Because he's like, dang, both my ops teaming on me? What we doing here? Hey, Shayna Boo, how are you? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. So, I'm a little confused, right? Because it's kind of interesting how we never see Rashad at his house, nor he doesn't seem like he has his own vehicle, because he's asking his brother to take him every which way like he a damn Uber. And I'm like, where's your ride at, bro? But the politicians, they be liking to have car service and drivers and whatnot. So I'm just gonna assume that's what Tate's been on. But since he's been dropped or not really being endorsed, the funds ain't funding, okay? So Kamal takes Tate to a nice little lunch spot, right? He's giving real bougie, right? And so we see Stephen Ott, who is the head of the DNC. We have Miss Ramona, okay? Head of the James St. Patrick fan club. And we also have Laurette Wash. So pretty much Tate was giving them the little, please, Biggie, give me one more chance. Biggie, give me one more chance. He's giving the plea of life, okay? And he's comparing himself to Obama and Obama's story. And I'm like, Tate, you should already know. They're not doing that. This is America. We do some things. We do some questionable things when it comes to who we vote for. They not gonna let two Obamas up in here, okay? But he was trying hard, right? And they pretty much was like, nah, son. So he was like, F all y'all, okay? And I'm like, ooh, that ain't cute. Tate, but you and your feelings. So maybe some of that liquor will still in your system, okay? So he proceeds to go to church to Reverend Macedon, right? And Reverend Macedon really just, he don't agree with my spirit, y'all. I just don't like him. Ever since they was over there doing the hot messiness with Raina and her funeral, I never saw it for Reverend Macedon. And I was actually thinking, what actor I really would have enjoyed playing his part is Keith David. I love me some Keith David, but I think he would have played the heck out of that role. Like, if y'all don't know who he is, like probably one of my favorite Keith David characters was on Dead Presidents, okay? I love me some Keith David, but I think he would have been a great Reverend Macedon, okay? But maybe it wasn't in the budget or whatever. I don't know. But I don't F with Reverend Macedon, okay? And Reverend Macedon was like, sir, you went over here and you let James St. Patrick trick you out your spot. But what you don't, let me remind you, Tate, you made me promises and your communion. So I'm gonna need you to figure out, okay? So he proceeded to give him all these, inspirational quotes and everything from the Bible. And he was like, well, I'm gonna need you to tell God to send me a miracle because that's what I need right now. Okay. I'm like, all right, Tate. All right. You asking for a lot. Yes. Oh, Cuddy. Child, that leg. Okay. I may have to watch that soon. Well, just up until the last 15 minutes. It get depressing, after that. But he goes back to the office, right? Child, he gets a visit from Tight T, Blanca, and Sax, okay? And they bust up in there and was like, hey, how would you like to help us take down James St. Patrick? So we see this old glimmering, shimmering light around Tate. I guess it's the miracle he's been asking for, right? So he was like, things that make you go, And they cut off that scene real quick because it's funny. The way they edit this scene from his perspective, it really cuts out like the shady things. Yes, Yes, it's actually Kirby. Yes, Mr. Jones. I was like, I know Cuddy was oh God, what is his actor name? Hey, what is the actor who played Cuddy? Yeah, it's making me upset. I'm gonna need y'all to please Google it for me, okay? But yes, it was actually Kirby. Cuddy was the one that was bossing up on Lorenz, okay? Which is funny because that I really low key just kind of put this together was Lorenz Tate, y'all charge it to my brain, not my heart, okay? Oh my God. See how my brain actually be working for real. But I be a little slow sometimes, especially when I'm, post sickness. Okay. Yeah, Cuddy was the one that was messing with Lorenz's character's girlfriend slash baby mama. The one that kind of punked them in the hallway. That was giving her the monies. Okay. So yes, Clifton Powell. That's why I love y'all, because I'm like, oh, what is his name? I know it. Yes, I really, that's such a classic, but it's kind of depressing. Anywho, Tate goes to meet Croup, okay, which I told y'all is played by Cedric the Entertainer, okay? I love me some little Ceddy, okay? So he is actually a hitman, and his son is pretty much his partner. Yes, Pinky, yes, Candy. Pinky, no. So let me just say this. I think in real time, fans really critique the heck out of Croup, which is Cedric's character. One, they felt like it was a waste of appearance or a cameo, whatever you want to call it, because he was only there for one episode and he didn't last, not even the whole episode. But I did like the fact that they implemented some history into his character because he has an affinity for country music, and so his son was even asking him later on in the episode, like, "Hey, Dad, can we listen to some regular like Black people music?" And Croup was like, "Oh, no, what we're not gonna do is fall into these stereotypes, son. Okay, country music is Black music. Okay, we invented that. Where do you think the banjo came from? Okay, it came from Africa, son. So I'm gonna need you to get your Googles and figure it out." And I'm like, y'all should have been had this conversation, because I'm sure you was over there listening to the country music for years, okay? And now your son is maybe 19 or so. Now he musters up the guts to ask you about this. Like, I don't know. I really was questioning Croup's parenting. I mean, of course, they're hitmen, so the morals is not really there. But his son is Goof Troop, okay? Shout out to Brillo, because Goofy is what this son is. Because it took me to rewatch this. Of course, well, I'm glad that I'm rewatching this season. But I was like, they were amateurs, low key. So, anywho, Tate was like, "Well, pretty much, you guys, I appreciate you driving up to New York. But yeah, I no longer need your services." And they was like, "What?" He was like, "All right, okay, well, you don't need my services. Well, where is my money? Run me my money." And Tate was like, "Well, I'm not gonna run y'all no money because y'all didn't do work." And so, of course, Croup was like, "See, this, I'm about to take my earrings out." He was on that type of time, right? But Tate was like, "Okay, I see a little hostility going on. I can, make sure, I'll send you guys a little something." So the son was like, "Well, I think you actually hired somebody else and you didn't want to tell us." And Croup was like, "I think you're right, son." And Tate was like, "No, that's not it. I just don't need y'all no more." So Croup was like, "Sir, we murking somebody. Okay, so is it going to be you or it's going to be him?" And they talking about James. Okay. And Lorenz, I had to call him Lorenz because he was scared for real. So he was like, "I guess y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do." You know what to do. It was given like, okay, my bad. So Tate, he's really stuck in a pickle, right? So he goes to Truth to warn James St. Patrick. And I swear, I don't know, this has got to be probably top 5 scenes of James / Ghost getting on my nerves, okay? Because he was top tier a-hole at this point. And, you know, Tate, he came to James the man because he really didn't even have to warn him. He's like, James, I'm sorry, I effed up. It's something I really got to warn you about. And James went on this whole like monologue talking mad-ish to Tate, talking about, I stole your dream. I'm better than this than you. Yada, 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 yada. I mean, he was talking cash money-ish for the 99 and the 2000. I was just so aggravated because I'm like, he's trying to save your life, bro. Shut it up. Shut it up. Like, he was getting on my nerves. And I swear, this is true to James and true to his character and his character flaws, because time and time again, we would see these scenes where he's either talking too much to someone, he's either excluding some information that can help him, he's either, you know, cutting somebody off. Like, he's always having these scenes that if he were to allow the person to communicate effectively and express what they need to express, and everything will be all good. But no, he was pure top tier cockiness at this point, and he was getting on my nerves. I was tired. Yes, Candy, he was giving jerk, capital jerk. Okay, so I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. Even though I gave him slack, I gave the writers a little credit, because James said a line that's low-key so fire. I was like, I'm gonna have to use this. I'm not really like a mean-spirited person, so this person will really have to deserve it. But James pretty much told Tate, losing is a skill that I am glad that you really became such an expert in. Like, how could you tell somebody losing is a skill that I'm glad that you became such an expert at? I mean, if you want to be a jerk, you're going to go full out jerk mode. You might as well go ahead and do the damn thing, okay? So Tate, he was, you know, he was pissed off, okay? I saw a little old dog twinkle in his eye. He was really about to get that little twitch, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, you know what? I'm going to let you have it. You probably deserve it. Like, in his mind, I knew that's what he was saying. So he was like, well, so what's your next move? What you got planned? So James was like, well, I'm throwing a little party. You know what I'm saying? I got some things to celebrate. I can invite you, you know, to the party so the people won't forget your name nor your face, okay? But I got to go ahead and, you know, meet with my son real quick. So when James said son, it refocused Tate, okay? He was like, oh, your son. So I guess, you know, the caring of the heart came in a little bit. He was like, James, I'm sorry. I really gotta talk to you. And he tries to warn him again. And James is really just went full throttle to the point where he kicked Rashad out. When I talk about blocking your blessing, it's James St. Patrick, okay? Even though it's like a weird way to look at it, but I'm looking at it that way because he pissed me off, okay? So Tate, he's stressed out, so I guess he decided to get some coffee versus going to get that liquor, okay? So he goes to his coffee shop. He gets recognized by the patrons, and they all excited, taking pictures and streaming and showing all this, you know, I don't call it paraphernalia, but you know, just all this, I can't think of the word, but you know, they got little Tate phone cases and everything. Like, they're really riding for this man. So he probably was like, you know, I'm gonna just live in this a little bit. So he decided to take a group picture, and you know, he was kind of feeling good about himself, and he was probably thinking back in his head, well, James is about to be out of here, so I might as well, you know, reconnect with the people. Okay, so I did like the little scene. It was very cute or whatever. So we see Croup and his son Carter. They're like tailing James at this point, and you know, they They follow James to this little industrial area. They got the little warehouses and 18-wheeler, trailers and everything. You know how power do. You know how power be doing, right? So they getting the special blickies, okay? I don't know. I'm not a gun person, so I don't know all these names or whatever, but it's a punch of, pew pewing, activity options going on there, right? So the son, he's really just on 10, excited. And so Croup was like, all right, son, I'm gonna need you to calm down. He was like, calm down, it's just one guy. He was like, yeah, that one guy can make a difference between us and being able to make it home tonight. I was like, ooh, the foreshadowing. Okay. So they go in. This is the dumbest thing. They go into the little warehouse, right? So the son is front. He has pretty much first, viewing sight of James. And they see James not just talking to someone, obviously, but having a really heated conversation. They don't see Tommy, who is the other person, but he at least see James having a heated conversation. And the son, Carter, decided that it would be a great time to pew pew at James. And he misses. So, of course, James and Tommy, they always prepared. I can't remember if, honestly, they don't show it in this POV, but I'm trying to remember if James had a blicky. I'm trying to remember. I know Tommy did. I feel like he did. I feel like James had a blicky because I think I saw him around the corner with a little pew pew with Charlie Angel's action. I think so, but don't quote me, okay? Because he always stay prepared, but sometimes James, he want to be over here carrying blickies and whatnot. So he got to have a little image to uphold. So don't quote me, but I'm not quite sure. I can't quite remember. My apologies, you guys. But we already know Tommy stays strapped. He ain't living no double life, okay? So he goes and, goes into the warehouse and pew pew. And meanwhile, Carter, Croup's son, his gun jams. And I always see, the machine guns jamming. I'm going to need y'all to stick to the regular sizes, okay? Y'all over here supersizing your blickies, and they always having some malfunction. So while his, blicky jams, his father, notices, he was like, all right. So his father, Croup, he covers him. He was like, all right, son, I got you. And while he's talking, he got hit by Tommy. So Carter leaves, and Croup over there, like a chalk cutout, okay, just gone, okay, like instinct, gone, like he over there, gone. And Tommy, he comes through, and he was like, oh, you're not Italian, because Tommy thinks the Italian's after him. I was like, no, he could be, you never know. We already know, we already be some mixed up folk, okay, but for the most part, he was not Italian, okay. So Tommy got the drop on old Croup, right? So Tate, he goes back to the office, right? Because he just was at the little coffee shop. So several episodes ago, we saw he was banging, one of his subordinates, if you will, Cassandra. So she was pretty much there to tell him to concede and, not confuse the voters, because she was like, I saw your little stunt at the coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? You can't be confusing the folks. You not in this, man. He was like, oh, you don't believe in me. Well, F you and F Ramona too. Okay. So she leaves, and then he has another situation with one of his subordinates trying to get some files. But Tate was like, oh, hell, those are company files. You got to use my files for another campaign. Like, where do that at? Like, he was actually trying. Like, Chris, you was doing too much, sir. Way too much. So, of course, it seems like it's a revolving door at Tate's office because Dre comes in. And Dre was like, I have some valuable information on the St. Patrick's. Do you know about Tariq? So we don't see the rest of that conversation, but we do see Tate hauling ass in the car, and he get a little ring-a-ding-ding by Carter. And Carter's on the phone. You said it was going to be only one. It was two. My father called. And Tate was like, no speaker English. He was like, the call, I can't hear. I can't hear you, sir. He hangs the F up on Carter, okay? He was like, I don't want none of this, okay? Because we already know there's a couple reasons, okay? The feds be tapping stuff, okay? We don't want no problemos, okay? So we see that Carter is over here not having the number one thing he needs to have is the accountability. Because, sir, yes, you were tasked to murk one person, but you saw that other person talking to another person. Or did you think James was schizophrenic or something and just talking to his other personalities? Because you didn't even see the other person. You don't see if it was a kid or another person. I mean, the other person was actually a gangster that you should have been counting on. But I'm like, sir, what are you doing? You were tasked to murk one person. You couldn't wait till he was completely isolated. If you wasn't going to wait if he was completely isolated, you might as well murk him at truth when y'all was staking out truth. Like, make it make sense. And then your gun jams. That's on you because y'all not doing your due diligence. Like, y'all are what? Y'all like the worst hitmen I ever seen in my entire life. Like, I don't understand. Was you still in training? Was this actually training day? Make it make sense because I'm not understanding. Tate, I blame you as well. Like, where did you find these people? Because obviously they had some rapport because they made reference to Tate being in the force. So we already know he's been in politics for a little minute. But I'm like, all right, Tate, did you use these people before? Like, did you check their references? Like, I am confusion. Like, this was the most idiotic hit I've ever. Well, I don't want to say that because I'm pretty sure it's been some dumb ones out there. But this is top 10, okay? Top 10 because you over here calling Tate with the snot bubbles on something that was completely preventable. Like, what are we doing here? Like, y'all, I don't think y'all understand. It pissed me off. Like, because, we haven't seen, well, in real time, this episode did not air. It aired probably like maybe 8 to 10 years ago. No, I lied. That's probably reaching. I'll say 6, 7 years ago. So you tend to forget little details and, you just get pissed off. Or I guess maybe also I'm a little older and I'm a little more focused on watching things. And I'm just like, this don't make not a goddamn sense. What are we doing? What's up, SJ Smith? What's up? You said who was worse, Croop and Carter or the 4 horse? Jesus. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, God. Dang. I'm going to have to ponder on that one. I'm probably going to say the 4 horsemen because 1, it was 4 of them, okay? 2, their reputation preceded themselves. Like, they was really supposed to be them guys. Like, they wasted plenty of frequent flyer miles, time and energy, and I'm sure money and artillery to fail. So I'm going to just say the 4 horsemen because that's one thing with Power that teed me off. They didn't really do it too much with Croop and Carter because they kind of serve like a small-ish role. But Power, one thing they're going to do, they're going to beef up and hype up some folk for us to get let the F down. So Tate, we know I said he was in his car when he got the call from Carter, but he was actually on his way to Tasha's daycare, okay, or lack thereof, because there ain't no kids up in there, okay? So he was like, Tasha, I heard that James over there was going to throw Tariq under the bus. Does Raymond Jones, does that name ring a bell? She was like, you know how Tasha is. She's very much like, I'm sorry, what? Who? What? Who? I was like, maybe like what? Huh? What? He? Huh? Like, she was over there, of course, playing dumb, right? And so she was like, well, how do you know that name? And he was like, James told you. She was like, James would never, ever mention goddamn Raymond Jones to you. He won't trust you like that. And so he was like, well, anywho, you got to stop James from throwing Tariq under the bus. So I need you to go over there to the police department and tell it all, sis. And she was like, whatever you and James got going on, sir, leave me out of it. Y'all obviously trying to use me for y'all little battle. And I don't have time. Okay, I don't have the time. I'm like, Tate, you ain't try hard enough. Maybe if you'd have told Tasha you'll take her to the you know, Tasha, times is hard right now for her. So maybe if you told her she would give her a ride and maybe, you know, a 2-piece and a biscuit, maybe that'll entice her a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't try hard enough, Tate. But that's partially on you, okay? But Tasha, she was like, nah, bruh, you handle that, okay? I don't want no problems when it comes to that because we already know. She got her own things planned up in the cut, right? So later on that night, back at Rashad's house, Tate, he over there taking the trash out. I'm like, that's the least you could do. You probably running up the light bill, the water bill up, eating all their food or what have you. So it's the least you could do is take out the trash. But when he gets to the alley, to the trash can, he is met by Carter. And Carter got the blicky in his face and he upset, talking about his daddy again. And I'm like, Carter, that's your fault. That's your fault. You got to live with that, bro, because you made multiple mistakes. But of course, he hurt, he young, he's not trying to have any accountability. So he had the nerve to tell Tate, you're going to walk me into your house so I can murk you and all your family members. And Tate was like, nah, sir, it's not going down like that. Okay, my family ain't got nothing to do with it. I was like, you know what, Tate? I'm going to give you a couple snaps, okay? You are a stand-up individual, okay? I mean, you slimy and slippery in multiple ways, but I appreciate that, okay? So next thing we see, we heard a little pow. And Tate looking at himself like, what, am I hit? Am I hit? I'm like, no, Tate, you ain't hit. You still standing, bruh. But it actually was Kamal. He took a shot at Carter, and he murked Carter. And of course, Tate gives Kamal this little fake behind story about, you know, with some stranger, you know, on drugs or something, with trying to mug him. And Kamal was like, sir, this neighborhood is safe. We don't have these type of unsavory people around here. I was like, come on, you are in New York City. I don't even care if you was in Mayberry. There is no place that's completely 100% safe. And if it serves me correctly, you are in Queens. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of neighborhoods are safer than others. But I'm gonna need you not be naive. But he does know his brother at the same time, so he be sniffing when his brother be full of ish. Okay, he does know that his spidey senses be on point when it comes to his brother. Nothing else but his brother, because if he had spidey senses, it could have prevented some things that happened to him later on. But we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there, y'all. We're not gonna go there. Because I'm getting upset all over again. Because he had a nice little wife and family and everything. I'm like, you got caught lacking. And that's funny. He actually murked Carter, saving his, you know, brother from somebody named Carter. And then he got murked by Carter. A whole nother Carter. Was y'all playing with us, writers? Was that on purpose? Is that a mean trick? Like, make it make sense. I got questions. Is it a coinky dink? Because y'all know we like to recycle the names over here in these universes. But I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that coincidence at all. So, Kamal, he's suspicious of the story, but he kind of lets it go because his wife is over there just in her feelings, rightfully so. Because she's like, dang, you know, that could have been our son taking out the trash. Like, you know, she's probably thinking we over here, you know, in a decent neighborhood. Okay, so she's like, we got to put a couple more locks on the doors. We got to do some things, okay? I got to go to the gun range and get my blicky. I mean, she didn't say all that. I'm speaking for her, but that's probably what I would have been thinking, okay? So Tate gets a little page, right? That is a little emergency at the office. He gets to the office. They over there confiscating the man's TVs and stuff. He was like, this the emergency? They was like, yes, the Democratic Party, we need all of our things. Okay, they taking all the TVs. I said, y'all couldn't wait for business hours. It's clearly a good 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Y'all over here playing. Y'all over here. That was hilarious, y'all, because they could have waited till a good 10 a.m. to take the man TVs. Like, what are we doing here? Y'all real disrespectful and rude, okay? But Blanca Rodriguez, you know, Tight T Blanca, she there too. And she was like, well, Tate, we no longer need your testimony because the judge is not signing off on no arrest warrant for James St. Patrick. It is over. It is over. And of course, he had this little grim light that just casted over his little spirit child. He was very much upset, okay, because this has been a long day for Rashad Tate, right? So when Blanca leaves, Stern and Lorette comes in. So they're asking for Tate to officially endorse Lorette and James St. Patrick. He was like, bruh, no, we not doing that. They was like, well, the optics, it will look good. It will not look good for you to be over here looking like a little sore loser. Okay, they're not going to vote for anybody with that type of attitude. So in the long run, it will behoove you to endorse us officially and just concede. And he was like, bruh, get the F out of my face. he was not playing, okay? He was not playing. So he calls Dre. So did he meet up with Dre? And they're pretty much, talking the particulars about the little deal he made with Dre, pretty much asking Dre to off James, right? So he got a whole new license plate. He got some IDs, okay? And he got the shmoney, okay? So pretty much all the things that Dre needs to start a new life, right? So Kamal calls him and was like, well, you still at the office? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm coming to pick you up. The Kamal, I didn't like the way his tone and his voice like sounded. I'm like, bro, like what? We okay? What we doing here? Hey, Steven, how are you? Thank you for coming through. So he was like, I got to take you down to the precinct so we can, officially put this, statement in the books, right? So they go to the precinct. They on the way to the precinct, right? And so, Rashad, he's over there giving his statement. Now, they all know that Rashad is a former policeman. So, we got this whole, blue wall situation, this camaraderie. And they're pretty much taking his word for it. You know what I'm saying? They really not having no type of sympathy for this man that Kamal done murked, okay? Even though it was self-defense. So Kamal was still feeling the way because he got a little hort. He got a little Ralph Transmit in him, you know what I'm saying? He got a little sensitivity in him, you know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Kamal, all right? So he in the midst of concluding his little statement or whatever. And so one of the other cops busted into the interrogation room, whatever. And he was like, shots fired at Truth nightclub. And of course, Tate like, whoop. Like, what the hell? Trying to act all surprised or whatever. And he was like, Truth nightclub. He was like, well, I have some dealings with James St. Patrick. Is everything okay? Is he okay? And, the cop was like, well, there was one fatality. So he probably looking like one. Okay. Is the loneliest number that you ever So in this situation, he's hoping probably that Dre completed his assignment. But we already know James St. Patrick is a thugger, not a young thug, but he's a thugger. So there's a little anxiety here, okay? So they was pretty much offering Tate to ride along. He was like, yeah, come on. More the merrier, okay? There was some real goofy cops, okay? So he ends up going with his brother to the scene of the crime. And on the way, they're in the car. And Tate was like, I know you got something to do with this. I know you got something to do with this. It's on my spurt. Like he was giving one of those grandma speeches, okay? And so Rashad, he finally caves in a little bit. He was like, well, I do know Andre Coleman. He may say that I may have kind of put him up to this, but he lying. And Kamal was like, this is some BS, okay? And so they proceeded to argue about who life was better because Kamal, he has kind of like a stable job, funded job and, nice family, home, all the, picture perfect as things, right? And so Kamal was telling Tate, you got a great life too. You always run up on some luck. You're a bachelor, you got the world at your hands. They both pretty much arguing, but at the end of the day, they both have great lives. It just depends on what you consider a great life, right? So they arrive at Truth, right? So Kamal parks across the street and he pretty much tells Tate to stay put, do not get out this car. And he was like, man, I ain't no little kid. He's like, don't get out this court. I'm like, why the hell he rolled all the way there? We're gonna stay in the car. Like, what kind of ride along is this? It's whack as hell. So he waits till Kamal, leaves a little bit. And he gets gets out and puts his hoodie on. I was like, what you about to do? What are you about to do? You got this hoodie on like you about to do something. But I was thinking like in his head, he probably wanted to clean up any mess that may, rub up on him. Because let's think about it. If James is the one that's deceased, you still got Dre out here. You know what I'm saying? And even though he gave Dre a new identity, a little, starter pack, it's still like a loose end, right? But on the flip side, if Dre was the one that was off and James is still alive, James is still a threat. You know what I'm saying? He's threatening his livelihood in terms of, his, gubernatorial race. So either way, Tate was probably thinking, I need to go here and figure something out. But I'm like, what was you about to do? It's mad people outside, reporters, policemen, first responders. Like, I'm just really trying to figure out, like, what was you really trying to do? And how far and how close you thought you was going to get into Truth? Because the block is hot, literally, okay? So you could tell he got his little blicky, cop, his little, it was like he was on some Mob Deep time. I'm like, all right, survival of the fittest is given. Doom, 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 doom. Like it was giving Mob Deep action, right? But he got spotted by one of the newscasters. And so she pretty much asked him to, provide a little statement. So in the midst of him providing a statement, we see somebody come out in a gurney. And so the newscaster confirms that James was the one that met his demise. So of course that perks Tate up a little bit, and he gives this grand old speech, how politicians do. And his brother just in the background looking like this fool. So I'm like, all right, okay, cool. We figure out, James is gone. We already knew that. So the next morning, we at Kamal's house. And so they're preparing for this visitor. So apparently, Stephen, Ott, and Lorette and Tate had a little conversation, right? This is the next morning, mind you. So Lorette comes in. She was like, well, I'm so sad what happened to James. Because, she could tell her ego was all the way down to her gut. Okay, she did not want to come back crawling to Tate behind, but she needs the black vote. That was the whole purpose of her adding James to her ticket. So Tate was like, you know what? I've been doing some thinking, and your brand is funky right now, Lorette. Like, I can't really rock with you because you over here, you're aligning yourself with little thugs or what have you. Like, this ain't where I need to be, okay? And I'm looking better and better every day, okay? So Stephen Ott was looking like he do got a point. And Lorette, she was over there like, I know you ain't about to play me, Stephen. I know you're not about to play me, Stephen. Like, I would really be over here ending your life. And he was like, Ott, I'm the one that has the juice. So you're not going to be playing with me. So you go in the car while I talk to Tate. I'm like, oh, she going to cry in the court. She going to cry in the court because Tate definitely looks better as a candidate than she does, okay? Because her whole thing is she's needing the black vote. And why would he add himself to her ticket when he's it? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Tate, I like what you did there. What's up, Detroit? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. So Stephen Ott and Tate, they shake hands. And then the next thing we see, Tate is over there at Reverend Macedon's church delivering a whole, just inspirational speech and pretty much accepting his nomination from, the Democratic, the Democratic nomination, for governor, what have you. So we see, Ramona, she over there with the steak face. I'm like, Ramona, the way you was digging James, I'm really low-key surprised that you really keeping yourself together during this situation. Like, I would have thought you'd be in the bathroom somewhere crying your little heart out, child. Just how like Angie was. When James closed that door, she was really derided hard for James, y'all. It just really pissed me off because I'm like, girl, you really just went from one adulterer to another. So, anywho, at the end of the speech, they leaving the church, and Kamal was like, yeah, you remember that Andre Coleman guy you told me about? Yeah, he got murked last night. He burnt to a crisp, okay? Burnt to a crisp in prison. And he was like, you might as well go ahead and buy some lottery tickets because you are one lucky son of a gun, because I know your name is wrapped all in this, okay? So he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, we have other reporters out there, and, they're questioning Tate. And he proceeds to tell the reporter that Ramona and James was having an affair. Now, that's trifling as hell. I mean, I didn't say you want to get your get back, but she was digging him. Don't get me wrong. If James was not over there getting murked, he was actually en route to go to the hotel to meet Ramona. So they would have knocked the boots, okay? But I'm trying to think. Well, Tasha and James was not technically separated. So, I mean, it's still cheating or what have you. But, yeah, that was kind of effed up. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to get back, sometimes there's no limit. Like, it's giving 50 Cent a little bit now that I think about it. But, hey, it is what it is, right? So, the next morning, I don't know, it could have been the next morning or maybe later on that day. See, it was giving morning time. Tate was over there smacking it, flipping it, and rub it down over there. Old Cassandra, okay? I'm like, oh, Cassandra, you back on the home team, huh? You back on the home team. So they over there, they had some pretty decent scenes. I'm like, I'm gonna hold you, okay? So we hear a little doorbell ring, okay? So he was like, I'll get it. He has a little robe. So it's Ramona. She pissed off. She's like, how dare you tell them me and James is over there having an affair? So she pissed off. She slaps him and she leaves. And, of course, Cassandra, she makes her entrance as well. And she's all cocky. And she was like, yeah, I think we do, make a good couple, whatever. And Rashad said one of the most savagest things. And I know that's probably, I use the word incorrectly. I should say most savage things. Sorry, you guys. Time for me to go night-night. Anywho, he told Cassandra, you might as well try to see if you could split an Uber with Ramona. So she was like, oh, it was like that. He was like, yeah, you didn't think this was gonna last, do you? I just had to get some, some goodbye cooch. I'm like, see, I mean, he didn't say that, but that's pretty much what he was saying. I was like, Cassandra, I mean, she was over there trying to run for office as well. So it probably wouldn't have worked out because they didn't really trust each other like that. So it is what it is. So she leaves and, he watches the news. And they're talking about James, and they stated that they arrested someone. And so they reveal the person, and he has a little shocking face, and he's reacting to it. But, of course, we as the viewers do not see the person, okay? So that was pretty much the end of the episode, y'all. It was pretty good. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, I feel like the last 5 episodes of this season get a lot of flack. But if you really think about it as individual pieces of work in terms of the episodes, I don't think it's as bad as people really make it. I think when they're comparing seasons and seasons, yes, I think this is the least favorite. But of course, James is gone or what have you, and he's like a fan favorite. But I really like how they tie in, the different points of views, and they make sure, and they was very cognizant of the dialogue differences, what they insert in each person's point of view in terms of the scenes and their perspectives. I really stuff like that. I really think it's cool in terms of the direction and the writing. So I do give them kudos for that. So you guys, I will be covering the final episode of OG Power next Thursday. Okay. I really would like to do it next Wednesday. That's pending. Okay. We're going to see how the week go. Because me and Brillo, or I should say Brillo and I, was supposed to premiere season 3 of the Pretty Thorough podcast tonight, but he is under the weather. So we are actually going to reschedule tonight's premiere for next week. So I may have to try to do the finale of OG Power on Thursday, because I don't mind doing back-to-back lives, but I know the last episode, which is almost an hour and a half movie status, I don't want to rush it. But so I'm gonna have to be particular what I cover or not, because I like to be thorough. Okay. But that was pretty much the episode, you guys. Thank you so much for coming through. I know this is probably my first recap review in months. Okay. So thank y'all. I feel like I'm a little rusty, and plus I'm still getting over this, this little virus situation. So I appreciate y'all coming through. In terms of my channel, I will of course be covering Raising Kanan's new season on Sunday mornings. I will do a refresher live of season 3 before season 4 premieres. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I have a couple movie reviews I want to work on, but stay tuned for that. I'm not trying to put the cart in front of the horse, because life be life, and okay. But if you haven't subscribed to my other channel, Channeling Chanel, that's the word channeling, and then my name, CHANELLE. Please do so and support. Okay, I have released a couple of videos on that channel, so if you're interested, I would love for you guys to subscribe and support that channel. I'm going to have more videos on that channel coming up in the next few days as well. Okay. So again, if you don't mind liking the video, confirming you like the video, confirming if you subscribed. Okay. I need y'all to do that favor for me. Okay. And y'all already know I may pop up like some popcorn on a random live. You never know. Okay. So the notification bells should be turned on. Okay. Okay. But again, you guys, I love you. We got over, I'm about to say the hump, because I'm used to doing this on Wednesdays, but we got over the most of the week. Okay. It's Friday Eve. So I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and I will see you guys soon. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the recap. Toodles.